Hello and welcome to my rules explanation slash playthrough of the Legendary deck building system. Now, the digital port for this one's a little different than the tabletop version. The tabletop version has the IP for a lot, has access to the IP of a lot of franchises. So you have Marvel Legendary, which has a ton of expansions and is the first uh, game I played in the Legendary system, and I really enjoyed it a lot. Then there's Alien, which follows the Alien movies. There's Predator, same thing. I believe there's a Buffy one. There might be a Firefly one. I don't know. I stopped paying attention after a while. Um, and I started playing different games. Marvel Legendary definitely still has a special place in my heart as one of the first games that I played um, on a regular basis. Like, we would play a lot of rounds of Legendary. Um, and also with Infinity War having just come out recently, the only reason I know things about the Marvel Universe is because of Marvel Legendary. Um, so I looked probably like every 6 months or so after I started playing it. I started playing it in 2015 maybe. Um, I would look and see if there was any sort of digital implementation of it, and I hadn't looked for a while. It turns out that there was this app on iOS that was released last year, maybe this year. I'm not sure. Um, Now you'll notice this isn't a Marvel title. I guess the IP didn't translate through to the digital version, and that might be one of the reasons why it took so long to get a digital implementation. They've created their own characters, but the great thing about the Legendary system is it is pretty consistent across the board how it's going to work. So this is the full version. The When you first get it, you get one mastermind, one scheme, and I think only a selection of heroes. You don't get all the heroes. So we're going to play through what you would get in the base game without paying for it. We'll use that mastermind and that tactic so that you're familiar with it. But I want to show you some of the other things too in case you do get the full game. You might notice this. Let me see. Let me get my cursor. This packs and things like this, and these things. These are cosmetic. The packs are because we can open the pack right now. Um, it's an avatar. Like, it's nothing that's going to stop you from being able to play the game, which is really good. I mean, if you're into like that sort of like collecting thing, which I'm not really, so I don't do it very often. I'm not that concerned with the sort of accruing of packs. You get foils of cards. It's kind of like this. It says right here. Aside from the expansions, all content in the collection menu is cosmetic and does not affect core gameplay. So that's fun. I'm pretty sure I asked that not to show it again. But I think I have, yeah, like there's a foil from one of the heroes. There's another one. None of this matters. This is all cosmetic. Let's get into the game. Let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to click play. We are going to play solo. Now, again, in the bear version, you'll only have access to solo, which is fine. It's great. I kept the bear version for a couple days, and when I got the full version, just to see how it was. I mean, these I haven't done. I haven't done either of these. I have done the gauntlet, which is kind of fun. There doesn't seem to be a large population of people playing this game right now. So luckily, the solo game is solid. So let's go ahead and do solo. We are not going to do a random mastermind and scheme. Let's see. We are going to, like I said, we're going to use the mastermind and scheme from the base set. So that involves, I don't know, I guess I can't zoom in on her anymore. This is, I guess, Kalila, Bender of Wills. What the mastermind card is going to tell us is it's going to tell us how strong the villain is. And it's going to give us some information on building our villain deck. There's going to be 2 different decks in this game. There's going to be a villain deck, which is basically going to be the AI, what we're going to be fighting against, right? The Automna. And then there's going to be the hero deck, where we're going to be getting new cards to add to our deck, hence the deck building aspect. We're not going to play advanced solo because I don't want to get into the difference right now. I just want to show a basic game. So the starter mastermind is this character, and the starter scheme is this one. Again, we'll talk more about this when we go into the actual game itself. Now, you can also customize which heroes are going to be in the thing, which villains, and which henchmen. And I believe for a 1-player game, we will have either 3 or 4 villains. Oh, no. Or well, the 3 heroes. It says right here. 3 heroes. We'll have 2 sets of villains. And we'll have 1 set of henchmen. And the henchmen are going to give us the henchmen. And, okay. So the way the game works is each sort of class, each hero or villain has like a little mini deck of cards. And the way that we make the villain deck is we're going to take 2 mini decks of these characters, right? Either like Ernak the Lethal, and Nordagem, or Sarko, or Force of Gehenna, or Brigitte, or Void Rider. These are all ridiculous. We'll take 2 of them, and then for henchmen, we'll take 1 of these henchmen groups, and we'll shuffle them all together. And we'll also shuffle in 5 Master Strikes and 8 Twists, as it says right here, 8 Twists, and a number of villagers, innocent people. And that's how we'll make our villain deck. The way we'll make our hero deck is we'll take 3 of these mini decks, shuffle them together, and there's our mini deck. Now again, I want to take just characters that are available in the base game. It looks like I haven't unlocked all of these guys. Interesting. But really, I'm just going to have these be randomized. And then we'll go from there. The villains and the henchmen will be randomized too. Now, within the villains, there is, each mastermind is going to have a specific villain type that is bound to them. And what that means is it's not going to be just 2 random sets of villains. Like, she needs Ernak the Lethal. So when we're building a deck with the villains, we'll need to include Ernak the Lethal and 1 additional one that we can just mix in. And the more that you play, the more that you know that there are some that you like maybe more than others, and that kind of thing. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's see what our playfield is going to look like here. So our goal is to defeat the mastermind. The way that we defeat the mastermind is we're going to try to get this number down to 0, basically. We're going to fight her 4 distinct times. So this is where our mastermind card is. We can sort of click on it, read it. We see that her strength is a 7. So in the anatomy of a card in this game, in the bottom right is always going to be what you have to have accrued in order to either beat that card if it's a villain or a mastermind, or accrue that card if it's a hero or a villager sort of situation. So that's our mastermind. This is our scheme. So you'll remember that our villain deck is comprised of 1 henchman, 1 henchman mini deck, 2 villain mini decks, 8 twists, 5 mastermind strikes, or master strikes, and some villagers. So whenever a scheme twist comes out of the deck, so at the beginning of each of your turns, you'll reveal the top card of the villain deck, which might make villains move up here. We'll talk about that in a minute. If it's a twist, we're going to put the twist next to the scheme. If it's the 5th twist or the 6th twist, each player is going to gain a wound. If it's the 7th twist, each player gains 3 wounds. And if it's the 8th twist, evil wins. So the way that good wins is going to be to defeat the mastermind. The way that evil wins is for the schemes to beat me. And it's a draw if either the villain deck or the hero deck runs out. Neither good nor bad win in that situation. The villain deck's not going to run out though, because it's got the schemes. And the ending condition here is that if twist 8 is revealed, evil wins. So there's not going to be a draw. It's either going to be good is going to win, which is our side, or evil, which is this lady's side. So let's take a look. Let's talk a little bit about what a deck building game is. If we come down here, we will see what our deck consists of. Right now our deck is 12 cards. Our hand size is 6. So here we have our 6 cards. So it means we have 6 cards in hand and 6 cards still in our draw pile. So what will happen is at the beginning of our turn, we'll draw 6 cards. We'll play these cards and then we'll discard them. And any new cards we get will go in the discard pile as well. Then we'll draw 6 new cards, right? So let's go ahead and let's start. Let's go through our little first round here. Let's take a look at our hand. We have, our starting hand is going to consist of envoys, which is this lady, and guards, which is this dude. Now, you'll notice that they both have a price over here of 0. That's because they're starting cards. You can't get them later on in the game, and really you don't want to. They're very weak. Anytime you see the star, this is a recruiting star. So this is how much recruiting power she's offering. And anytime you see this claw mark, which I think looks kind of like bacon, that is a fight, like a strength value. Further, on these cards, in the upper left hand, you'll see what faction they belong to. So this faction is kind of, I guess, like, I don't know, like village security, something along those lines. And when we look at these hero cards, we'll see different factions as we go along. So we can play these one by one by tapping on them and pressing play, or we can take them and we can reorder our hand, right? And number 1 will play first all the way to number 6. Now that's not really that important right now, but we'll see how that'll affect things later. So we tap this, it plays all of our cards, and we have a running tally down here. So in this hand, we have 4 recruiting power and 2 fight power. Now our 2 fight power definitely isn't enough to fight the mastermind, because remember her strength is a 7. And we got a villain at the beginning of our turn, and their strength is a 3. So we won't be able to fight them this turn, which is fine. Now you'll notice on this villain card, they do have a fight condition. So if we were to fight them, this would be triggered. We would look at the top 2 cards of our deck and KO, which means permanently remove from our deck, so it wouldn't go back in our discard pile. It's a way of thinning our deck out. One of them and put the other back. So that's one of my favorite effects that a henchman can give you, because the henchman, or in a deck building game, you're constantly accruing new cards to make your deck stronger, but you also want a way to kind of thin it out, to get rid of those weaker cards, like these starting cards that later on are just going to be taking up space in your hand. So the Goblin Horde is one of my favorite of the henchman groups. So let's take a second and let's just look at what heroes we have down here that we could recruit for our 4 stars. Now we already know ahead of time that we would be able to afford these 4 because they have a green outline around them. So let's take a look and see what we have. Before we do, let me just talk real quick about that villain row one more time. You'll notice this is like the city, right? Or this land, this Alamith. So this location is the swamp, the tavern, the forest, the road, and the mountains. And as we reveal new cards from the villain deck at the beginning of each of my turns, these are going to be pushed down, because they're always going to enter the swamp. When one card enters the swamp, the card that's in the swamp will enter the tavern. If there's a card in the tavern, it'll enter the forest, etc., etc. If it gets all the way over here to the mountains, and all of these are full, and another villain needs to come out, the mountain card will escape, which is bad. It might have an escape condition written on it, but we will definitely have to KO from the guild hall, where we can hire our heroes, a hero of value 6 or less. So that can affect things. So enough about villains. Let's take a look at some heroes. So Heroes, this is a rough one to start with. Let's start with this one. So up here again we have the faction. So this is kind of like a nature magic, I guess, kind of guy. And it's different from this guy. Remember, this guy has this kind of gear looking thing, like a fidget spinner. And this guy has got this magic leaf. And then it has the name of the card, which is like the hero's attack or something, and then the hero's name. So this is Disarray the Sufferer. And the name of this card is Deadly Aim. So in order to recruit this card, to bring it into our discard pile so it's a part of our deck, it's going to cost us 3 recruiting stars. And when we play this card, we'll get 3 fight score, which is pretty good. But the condition on this card, to play this card, you must discard a card from your hand. So there is a benefit to that, right? Now, the last bit of information on this card is this symbol. And this symbol is like this is like an archer symbol. And it's, or like a ranged. It's going to maybe possibly trigger things on another card. So okay, so that's this card. Let's take a look at this next card because it'll explain what I mean. So this is Ord Mantell the Shadows card, and it's mime. Now he's a part of the same faction as Disarray the Sufferer. They both have that kind of like nature-y. He's also a ranged hero. He also costs 3, but he'll give you 2 recruiting power instead of the 3 fight power that this guy will give you. Now you'll notice here this condition, this says if you had previously played another card that has that symbol, then you'll get to draw a card. So if I had both of these cards in my hand, the order that I would play them would now become important. If I play this one first, I'll have an arranged symbol in my tableau. So when I play this one, this effect will get triggered. But if I play this one first, this card doesn't have an effect for playing a ranged symbol. So there's not gonna be any benefit to it. So that's where you start to figure out what is the best order to be playing these cards in. So those are 2 different heroes. Let's talk about this third hero, the Ceridwen, in his bear form. This guy costs 4. And his base power is 1 fight. But if I'd previously played this like green fist, which it means strength, then I would get an additional 3 fight. And this guy, this one over here, is the same. These 2 are the same card. So if I played this one, I would get 1 strength. And then I played this one, I would get an additional 1 strength, so 2, plus 3. So I would have 5 strength just from playing 2 cards, which is pretty cool. And then our final card is this one, which is also Ceridwen. So this is the same as the bear card. Play this card as a copy of another hero you played this turn, which is one of these cards. This card is both this red triangle and the color and class you copy. So if I played it as a copy of this bear form, it would be a red card and a green card, which is pretty neat. Now the borders of the card are going to also let us know kind of what did it call it? Class and color it is. So while this is a red, you can see the border of the red, right? On the green, you can see the border of the green. Oh no, I bought it. Well, there's my decision made. I double tapped on it. Okay, well, it's the same idea. Now, one thing to think about as well when you start your deck building that Legendary does a good job sort of catering to is I like to focus on only 1 or 2 different heroes. So in this case, I'm liking the idea of this Ceridwen character. Mainly because one of her bigger power ones, this 5 power, is out here right now. So I like this idea. I'm going to try to get a bunch of her cards, I think. And then between these 2, whoever has more cards come out, I will do. And probably not him because he does require you to discard a card. But we'll see how things go. So I bought a card. So now my recruiting is 0. And I have to fight, which is nonsense. I can't fight anything with that. Now you'll notice I now have one card in my discard pile, and that's the card that I recruited from the guild hall. And the blank spaces automatically fill. So then you can see what comes up if you have some recruiting extra. So now my deck is 13 instead of 12. So here we are, we're deck building. Look at that. So now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to hold this to confirm that I want to end my turn. We'll get a new villain card. The top of the villain deck is revealed. We get 6 new cards, and now our discard pile should show as 7 cards. So once we discard these piles, these cards, our discard pile will shuffle, and our draw pile will now be our 12 starting cards plus whatever cards we've accrued. And that's how we start snowballing up to get to the point where we're able to beat this mastermind whose strength is 7. So let's take a second and look at our new villain. It's from the Norda Gems sort of mini deck, Smell of Ozone. To fight, each player reveals a ranged hero, like this guy, remember, and this guy, or gains a wound, and if you escape, the same effect. Now, wounds are kind of jerks. They are worth nothing. They're worth nothing. They're worth no points. They're worth no, they don't give you any recruiting or fight. They just take up a space in your deck. So they make it a little harder for you to get a good hand. Now some of the heroes will have abilities that mitigate wounds. And if you are in a situation where you're getting a lot of wounds, those might be good heroes to recruit. Right now, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that, well, we might, I mean, we'll see. What was I going to say? Escape. Yeah, that's it. All right, so let's go ahead and play all these cards. So we have 4 recruiting again and 2 fight. Our 2 fight is not enough to fight this guy or this guy because remember he's 3. So let's see. Okay, that's enough. You don't need to keep telling me. We might just get another one of these because we know we already have 1, right? And if we just start focusing a lot on these strength fists as a class, then we'll get some good bonuses. Yeah, let's go ahead and take him. And let's see what card comes up next. So this is another one of Ord Matilda Shadow's cards, this guy. And he says, any villain you fight in the forest this turn gains -2. So when this guy moves here, his strength won't be 3, it'll be 1. If this card is in play for me, which is neat. Some of the heroes clearly will have like location specifics. That's where this location stuff is going to come in. Alright, we're going to call that our turn. In turn. Noodle-doo. Alright. Gross. So we got a wound. The reason we got a wound, actually these villains are coming out in a really good order. This guy has an ambush effect. And the ambush means that as soon as he's revealed, that thing triggers. And then, but you'll notice his fight is pretty decent. Choose a player. That player KOs, so permanently removes any number of wounds from their hand and discard pile. Now you can't go searching through your draw pile, so you got to time it pretty well to make sure you have wounds in either your hand or your discard pile when you fight him so that that benefit comes through. Now another part of the cards that we haven't talked about is this number here on the villains. This is a victory point value. It's going to be on the villains and on the villagers. And if you're playing a multiple player game, then whoever's going to have the highest score is going to win at the end of the game. Because it's cooperative, but it's also competitive. Like you're fighting things, but I don't know. I prefer it to be competitive where you don't even keep score. But that could just be me. So we see our hand now. Now we have one of those bear forms. Who's only going to be worth 1 fight for now, but hopefully he'll bolster up. And then we have a bunch of starting hand cards or starting cards. So we're just going to go ahead and play them all. None of them are dependent on other cards. So we have a 3 strength, so we can fight this forest one, and we can recruit one of these 2 guys. So first, let's go ahead and fight this forest guy. Remember, we have a fight condition of look at the top cards of your deck, KO one of them, and put the other one back. So when we click attack, it's going to show us 2 cards, and we can get rid of one and put the other one back. We're going to go ahead and I've been recruiting a lot of fight. So we're going to get rid of the fight guy, and we're going to keep the recruiting one. So that's our fight done. We got a point. And then we're going to recruit one of these two jokers. Either that guy or that guy. Probably this guy. Because we do need some recruit, and we need a ranged. And then we got another one. These two are the same card. Okay, well, let's go ahead and end our turn. We don't really have anything else we can do. Now, if at any point you don't like any of these cards and you have at least 3 recruiting, you can also recruit a mayor. And the mayor costs 3 and gives you 2 recruiting strength. He's pretty cool, but I don't need a mayor. I prefer to recruit like real characters. Same situation as last time. We do have 4 recruit this time though. So we're going to get that bear again. We're just going to hope that we get a bunch of these bears in one go. Ooh, we got a new hero type. So this guy's a strength guy. Now he's still that Disarray the Sufferer. This guy gives you 3 fight if you discard a card from your hand. This guy gives you 3 recruit if you discard a card from your hand. And he's a strength. Whereas these 2 guys are ranged. Interesting. Alright, let's end our turn. Let's see what comes out of the villain deck. A villager. So if a villager comes out of the villain deck, it's going to go behind the rightmost villain. And then when you defeat that villain, you'll also rescue that villager and get that villager's points. So now our hand is gross. We have our 4 starter guys. We have a wound, which is taking up space. And we have this. So if we were to play this, we would have a strength of 2, a recruiting of 3, and this wound. Or we can rest. If we rest, we don't take any other actions, and we get to get rid of that wound. I'm tempted to rest, because I can't fight anything with the 2 strength I would get from these 2 cards. And these 3 cards would give me a card, but those cards are going to be there anyway. So let's go ahead and rest this turn and get rid of our wound in our hand. Scheme Twist. Now whenever Scheme Twist comes out, we are going to be KOing one of the cards from out here. So there's 2 of these, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of that from the guild hall. Ooh, what's this one? So 2 recruiting. If you have played another red triangle card, you can KO a card from your hand or discard pile. If you do, you get another recruiting. Interesting. I like her. Like I said, my favorite thing in deck building games is being able to kill cards out of my hand and deck and with discard pile, make it as small as possible. So this guy is going to give me some recruiting. This guy's going to give me just the 1 fight. It's not good enough because all of my starting cards that I have in my hand are recruit. So we're just going to go ahead and play everybody. We're going to get a good 6 recruit, which is good. So that means, as much as I want her, she only costs 3. I have a good chance of getting her later. I definitely want this one. Remember, she's the one who can copy another hero. And is going to give me a red and whatever their thing is. So that she might also help with this bear business. So let's recruit her. Let's see what replaces her. Another one of those destroyer dudes. We'll end our turn. Ambush. I don't have a ranged guy in my deck, so I just got a wound. Okay, yay! So this time we have 2 bears. So we're going to get a fair amount of fight this time. We can play this as it stands right now. But I'm going to do it one at a time so you can see. So we play the first bear. We get 1 fight point. Now remember, this bear is also going to give us 1, but since we've previously played a fist over here, a green strength fist, we're going to get an extra 3 fight. So that's going to bring our fight here to a 5. So let's click play. And there we go. We got 5. And then the order of these guys don't matter, so we're just going to go ahead and play all. And now we can fight any of those up there. Or we could fight the mastermind, because we have 7. I think we're going to do that. And then we have a 2 recruiting. I don't want to recruit anything, because I don't really want him. Or do I? Yeah, he's good. He'll give us more recruit strength. So let's go ahead and let's fight the mastermind ones. So when you attack the mastermind, they start with 4 tactics. You're going to choose one of the tactics. I don't know what happened. I must have timed out. You're going to choose one of the tactics and it'll resolve, and then they'll be down to 3 tactics, and that number will change up here. You just need to beat the mastermind 4 times and you win, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and attack her, and we'll choose this first tactic. So look at the top 3 cards of your deck, KO 1, discard 1, and put 1 back on top of your deck. Well, we're not going to KO this one because we spent a lot of money on that. So we're going to KO this one, and we're going to put back that one, because then we'll definitely get her next turn, which is great. So, done. Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. So, that was a pretty productive turn. Let's go ahead and end it, and let's see what happens now. We got another scheme twist. So we're going to have to get rid of one of these guys from the hero guild. So we'll get rid of that guy. Ooh, what's that card? So this is great. This is the hero we've been collecting. So Master Shapeshifter cost us 8. Each player discards the top card of their deck. Play a copy of each of those cards. Now, unfortunately, we are playing this solo, but we'll be able. I mean, she's worth 4 fight, which is pretty fun. So she's not as ideal as she would be, but she's pretty great. Okay, so this one. Now, this is where order is going to come important again. Remember, this card is going to be a copy of another hero you played this turn, and it's both red and the color and class you copy. So we don't want to play it first. We want to play this one first, because then she will act as a copy of that card, and we'll get up to our 5 fight again. So let's move these around so that he gets played first, and then the other ones don't matter. So let's see what happens. A bloop bloop. So we're going to choose that one, of course. A bloop bloop. There we go. There we go. And just making some progress. So now, I mean, that of course could be more dramatic later on, but as it stands right now, I'm pretty pleased with that. We got 3 recruiting. I want to get another card from that same hero, because you see how the heroes cards all work well together with each other, right? So we're going to recruit her, and then we're going to fight one of these guys up here. Now, if any of these guys have a benefit to fighting them, this guy doesn't. He's going to give us a wound because we don't have a ranged one. This is going to let me KO any number of wounds from my hand to discard pile. I don't have any. Well, then let's fight this one, and then next time we can fight one of the 6s and get rid of our wound. So we just got a wound, and we only have 2 fight left. That's not enough to fight anybody. So we're going to go ahead and end our turn. Master Strike. Oh dear. Master Strike makes us KO a hero from our hand. Now, this hand is interesting. If you look at our hand, we have recruit, 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 recruit. I'm going to get rid of my fight this time, because 1 fight isn't going to help me in this turn, and I like the idea of a recruit heavy turn. Now here, each mastermind is going to have a different effect that'll be triggered by a Master Strike card from the villain deck. Hers is each player KOs a hero from their hand, which we just did, clearly. Alright, what do we got here? If I played a ranged previously, I get to draw a card. Fun. To play this card, I must discard a card from my hand. Neat. Okay, so we're going to play him, and we're going to discard this one, because she's worth 1, he's worth 3. That works. And then we'll play the rest of them. Oh, we're 1 short. We're 1 short from getting her. That's fine. We might get one of these too. What's this guy do? Any villain you fight in the forest gets -3. Sure, actually we'll get him. He's a ranged hero too, so that's useful. And then this one is another one of those, if you play a ranged, draw card. So we'll get him too. And then we have another bear form. Fun. Alright, so let's end our turn. And scheme twist. So we're going to get rid of somebody from here. We will get rid of that one. Cool, we got another one of hers. I like that we're getting so many cards of hers. That really is helpful. So this is the same situation that we had last time. We have, oh no wait, she's a different one. Well, his special effect only triggers if I've played a strength card, and her special effect only triggers if I played a red triangle. And these are the only cards I have. So the order that I play them doesn't matter. Their special effects aren't going to get triggered. So we have a fight of 2, which is not helpful. We have a recruit of 5, though. So we can get her. Excuse me. And we could recruit this guy for 2, but I feel like he's just going to clog up my hand and my deck, and I don't want to. So we'll end that turn. I have a villain in my hand, or a villain in my hand, a wound in my hand, which it's reminding me of here by telling me I can just rest. Now, I'm not going to want to just rest. Ideally, I'm going to have 6 fight that I can fight this guy and get rid of that wound. So let's take a look at what cards we have here. We have a bear, we have another bear, and we have that lady that lets us copy a bear. We're going to have more than enough fight this turn. So let's play the bear first, and then we'll play the other bear, and then we'll play her. Perfect. So play a bloop a bloop. She'll copy that bear, which will get us more fight. Now, in this situation, since she's copying that bear, this isn't being triggered for both of the previously played ones. It can only be triggered once. But still, a fight of 10, I'll take. I will do that, which will let me, yes, that's me, Rachel the First. I will get rid of my wound in my hand. And this tells you how many wounds you have in your hand, how many you have in your discard, and you can get rid of any number. So we'll just get rid of the 1 wound we have. Oh, shoot. I should have done that differently because he's going to give me a wound too. Oh well, that's fine. We'll fight this swamp monster or goblin horde in the swamp, and we will KO the wound. That works out really well. I didn't even know I had to. Oh yeah, I guess I got another wound from like a master attack or something, or ambush. All right, next turn. I really want to be able to buy her before the game's over. What's this? KO all of your fidget spinner heroes, and if they escape, each player KOs 2 of their heroes. So, when I fight that guy, I would have to KO that guy, that guy, that guy, like all 4 of these, because they're the fidget spinner ones. I wouldn't have to KO her or him. This is another kind of rubbish hand that we have here, because this one's special power isn't going to be triggered, and neither is this one. So we're just going to go ahead and play them all. Let's see what we can at least get this bear. That's good. Let's go ahead and get that bear. And, ooh, that's a big one. You may move a villain to a new location, rescue any villagers captured by that villain. I mean, that makes sense, because he's got the card that lets you move, like, that gives you a discount to fighting in the forest. So if you play this one at the same time, then you can have a discount in the forest. Now, we're not going to recruit anymore. Scheme twist. We get to get rid of a guy here. We will get rid of one of these guys. Another bear. Alright. So, if I play a range, I get to draw a card. Any villain I fight in the forest gets me -2. To play this card, I'm going to discard a card from my hand. I can KO a card from my hand or discard pile. If you do, you get +1. That's only if I've played another red card, which I won't be. So, I have 2 ranged cards. This one and this one. This one doesn't have an effect that's triggered by another ranged card. This one does. So I want to play that one first. And then this one, which will let me draw a card. It's just a boring card. Alright. So I'm going to want to discard one of these cards to play this one. Probably the fighting one, because I'm going recruit heavy this turn. And then we will, yeah, woo, we got her a fantastic one. And then, ooh, his magic one came out too. And then we have a fight score of 2. And remember, this first guy is giving us a discount on villains we fight in the forest. So we can fight this one. Boop. And since his trigger thing is reveal a ranged hero or gain a wound, we're not going to have to gain a wound because we have a ranged hero. So we reveal that guy, which is like pew pew from a distance, and we're safe. Now this new card that came out is Disarray's rare. There's only one of these. So you might have noticed that there's a bunch of these bears. The cheaper the card, the more there are in the deck of them. And there's like 2 of the penultimate expensive ones. There'll be like 2 of these 6 value ones. And then there's only one that costs like 7 or 8 or 9. So for this one, if you played another hero of this type, you get +2 fight for each other one you played this turn, which is great. Then it is going to be compounding based on how many of these you already have in your tableau for the hand. Now, my hero, the one that I've been focusing on, the shapeshifter, she is that class of hero, that type of hero. So that, whoops, a doodle. I hit something. All right, I think I hit this one down here. Yeah, I did. Okay. So I would not be against having this card in my deck as well. Now, this is one of those things where if you're playing with other people, it might become a race to see who can get these really powerful cards. Because, I mean, this card alone is going to give you at least 6 fight. That's crazy. Okay, so it's end your turn. Doop, doop, doop. Again, that's why I like to play comparatively, cooperatively, because you then you can discuss this with people and be like, hey, you know, I've been collecting a lot of cards by that hero. Like, would it be cool if you guys left that for me? Okay, so our new villain, when you fight them, you get to draw 3 cards. Oof, I like that. All right, so let's take a look at what we have in our hand. We have this guy to play. We have to discard a card. We have the red triangle, which we don't have in our hand. We have draw a card. We have draw a card. Okay, so both of these are the same card. They're both draw cards. They're both ranged. So we're going to play one of them, and then we're going to play the other one to trigger that draw card. Ooh, yay, we got our big one. Excuse me. So, we'll go ahead and do her ability. So I basically played a copy of that. Because remember, hers is everybody reveals a card and they play a copy of it. So I'm playing a copy of this bear. Now, luckily, he's got that, oh no. Oh, I got his bonus because she was a fist. So that worked out really well. Since she had a green fist, when I played him, I got his bonus. I should have done. It doesn't look like I did, though. Because she's worth 4 fight. And he should be worth 4 more fight. Well, we'll see. Alright, we'll play him. Yeah, there it is. It just triggered. We'll play him, and we got rid of one of our envoys. And we'll play her. She doesn't... Well, you know what? Shoot. She might have mattered. Because we're going to fight this guy first and get 3 more cards. If I got a red triangle, I made a mistake. I don't think I did, though. Okay, good. So this guy, any villain you fight in the forest, is -2. And then we have our bears again, which are going to give us a massive amount of fight power. So you see we're down to 2 because we spent 6 to fight that villain. What does this one do? I don't remember. KO all of your heroes. That's kind of fun. Okay. Now these remaining, their order doesn't matter because we already have a strength fist out. We already have a ranged out. So now we're at recruit 10 and fight 12. So we're definitely going to recruit this extra special sufferer. And we're going to fight the mastermind 1 time. And let's see what our tactic is. We get +3 more fight. Fun. We can fight her again. This has been a very busy turn. We get 4 more recruit. Super fun. We're going to go ahead and get this bear then. Cool. And then we're going to call that turn. So we only have to beat the mastermind one more time, and we've won the game. So we have play this card as a copy of another hero you played this turn, and she's not that great. These guys aren't that great. I wish I was getting them later. Alright, let's change the order. Actually, I guess it doesn't matter. We'll just play it like this. And play her, and she will become another copy of that, and we'll discard that guy because we're not going to be able to fight anything this turn. And we'll keep playing people. Now, I'm not particularly interested in any of these heroes. I don't care about moving a villain. I guess this draw card guy I have quite a few of. So we'll take another one of him too. And then we'll call that a turn. And see, hopefully we can get a better hand next turn. Scheme twist. Uh-oh, we got a wound. That means we're getting up there in scheme twists. Let's see where we are. 5. There have been 5 scheme twists. And remember, if we get to 8, we lose. We're not going to get to 8, though. Our deck is becoming very powerful. So we have the doppelganger. We have draw a card if I've played a archer. And we have strong bear if I've played a strong bear. I want to get this one again. This draw 3 cards villain. So let's change the order of these. First we're going to play our strong bear, and then we're going to play her. And she's going to copy the strong bear. And, oh no, that's not going to give us enough. Okay, we're not going to have enough fight to beat that guy. Yeah, copy him. We're going to be 1 short. That's fine. And we'll recruit her. Oh, good. I want that other doppelganger. Yeah, we don't have enough fight to fight anybody. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Alright. Ooh. Alright. So, if I've arranged, I get to draw a card. I'm a bear. Ranged, I get to draw a card. Good. We're going to start with this ranged, because he doesn't have an event or an effect that's triggered by somebody else. We'll play this ranged, which will get us another card. Ooh la la. We'll get another card from that guy. And then we will play her first, because the bear is triggered by having a strength already played. So she will be our strength. And hey, we just got another bear. We are going to win the game. We'll play him. Yeah, we have a strength of 14. This is pretty OP. Alright, so we have a strength of 14 and a recruit of 8. We're just going to go ahead and end it. There's no reason to drag Kalila, Bender of Wills, any further. So we're going to attack her. That's our last tactic. It doesn't even reveal what it is. Just mastermind defeated. We win. And it gives you some stupid things. It gives you some information, like what your longest combo was, what your deck side was. This is for the game. This is for you in case you were playing with more people. So your longest combo is always going to be, if you're playing solo, it's always going to be the same. There's only 1 Master Strike that was drawn. 5 schemes were drawn. We defeated 4 tactics. We rescued only 1 villager. Some of the heroes are going to have more of a villager-centric focus. They'll be like, if you do this, you get a hero, you get a villager, you get a villager, you get a villager. And I like those ones that kind of compound on each other. So let's take a look. We're not going to play, oops, a doodle. We're not going to play again, clearly. But I want to look at the other masterminds, give you an idea of what other options there would be. So there's this guy. So remember, her Master Strike was each player KOs a hero from their hand. This guy's is each player reveals one of those M heroes or discards down to 4 cards, and his strength is 8. So he's like the next level guy. She's a strength 9. Each player with exactly 6 cards in their hands reveals a certain genre of hero, or puts 2 cards from their hand on top of their deck, which is kind of mean. Then there's this dragon fella whose strength is 10. Each player reveals a strength hero or gains a wound, and he's the most difficult in this. Now, scheme-wise, we had Apex of Power, right, which was just your basic standard scheme. Just things are building up. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! You're getting wounds. Then you get ones that are more kind of like story-based. The Growing Darkness. So there's 7 twists. Each twist represents the growing darkness. For twist 1, you place the growing darkness. So you put the twist above the mastermind and give them +1 fight. And for twist 2 through 6, you're going to put it in the leftmost alemeth space that doesn't have a twist. And the villain in that space gets +1. And if you get to twist 7, there's nowhere else to put the growing darkness. You lose. These are my favorite kind of schemes because they're very thematic. One thing that I really like about the Legendary system is it uses the same materials. It's almost like a Lego situation. It uses the same materials to build different things. So the twists can be like this growing darkness, or in The Dead Shall Rise, you're adding villagers who you have to fight, and their strength is represented by how many twists have come up so far. So the first, you start out with a strength of 3, and then when you reveal the first twist, now the villager's strength to fight is 4, and then it's 5, which is fun. Pillage the Countryside. You're adding again more villagers, and villains are trying to escape with the villagers. And the Lure of Voodoo, you're actually adding heroes into the villain deck. You have to fight because they're under mind control, which is it's fun. Bleed 'em White. I haven't played this one yet. If you run out of wounds, you lose the game. There's only 30 wounds in the game. Oh no! Although this one says the wound stack holds 6 wounds per player. So if you once you can't get a wound anymore, you've lost. That one's really hard. Pitchforks and Torches isn't showing up. Chaos in the Streets, Flying Arms. These must be new ones that I haven't unlocked yet or something. So the schemes are fun, and you can always click up here to randomize the mastermind in the scheme. Advanced Solo, so like in this one, instead of KOing a hero during a scheme twist, you put it on the bottom. Whenever you complete a master strike, you play another card. And when a villain or mastermind tactic says each player, you do it yourself. You start with 1 villain group, 3 henchman cards, 1 villager, and 5 master strikes. And so it's a more difficult villain deck to work through if you're using advanced solo rules. So in total, I think, like, sort of in conclusion, give it a try. Learn the system. The system's not difficult. It's a fun little app, and this way, if there is any IP that you feel particularly strongly about, like if you're a big Marvel person or you love the Alien movies, I don't know. I just saw one for the first time a couple weeks ago. I don't really do horror movies, but I have played all of the Alien scenarios in the Legendary, so I kind of knew what was going to happen. Or if you like Buffy, like, because there's so many different, you know what, I should look it up right now and see, just so I can make sure I give you the right information. Because there's so many different IPs that are in the deck building sort of universe, it's, let's see, re-implemented by, there's a Firefly, there is a Predator, there's a Buffy, and there's an Alien. So whichever one you really like, go to town. Again, they play solo really well. I like the deck, the app, because you don't have to make the decks yourself. The Legendary one has a ton of expansions. There's one that's like, there's a There's a Guardians of the Galaxy expansion that has heroes for Guardians of the Galaxy. There's a Civil War. There's a Deadpool. There's Secret Wars. There's an X-Men one. There's a Spider-Man one. There's another one. There's a Hulky one. There's another Spider-Man one. That's there. You can find your favorite characters, and one thing again I like not only about the game itself, but about the app. When you do get to the point where you know which heroes you like playing with, and you're able to choose them. One of the things that was very important to me when I was playing the tabletop version of Legendary is I would always insist that there was at least one female hero in the group. And at the beginning with Marvel Legendary, it was usually Black Widow or Rogue. I liked Rogue. I feel like Rogue was pretty strong anyway. But here you can see that there's quite a few, like there's good parity, there's good gender parity. So I haven't actually had to go in and manually do it. Every game I've played has had at least one of either gender. So thumbs up, thumbs up. And some of the art is a little ridiculous. It is a fantasy idea, and I don't know enough about this world. And I also kind of don't care enough about the world to learn any more about it. So again, if there's an IP you like I definitely recommend getting it. Legendary is a fun game that you can play with other people. You can play it competitively. You can play it cooperatively. And this app is a really good implementation of that system. So I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day.